Motivational Monday, brought to you by The Bridge Builder. Thanks to everybody who's still joining us. I told you that we only had 10 Mondays left in the week last week. Now we have 9 today being counted. And I want to talk about the change checklist. On last week, we talked about how you have to control what you can control. And so this week, part 2, week 2 of the change checklist, I want to talk about requiring passwords. You know, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about the accounts I have to log into, and I don't know how many of you pay your bills online and you're logging into accounts, but I have one account that I always forget the password to. And when I forget that password, it's frustrating because then in order to set up a new one, they actually have to send me a text message in order to make sure that I'm me, and then I have to get that text message, put the code into the system in order to reset my password to gain access to my account, because they want to make sure that my account is secure. I suggest to you today that many of you are unable to change your lives because you let too many people into your life without requiring a password. And because you don't have passwords and you don't have systems set up to where you screen people from coming into your life and getting all of your information and getting to know everything about you, some of you have the wrong people around you, and as a result, people have access in and out of your business, in and out of your thoughts, in and out of your heart, and because of that, you can't get to change because you're not requiring a password. So there are 3 things that you can do to set up a password to protect your purpose. That's right, set up a password to protect your purpose. Number 1, you have to set expectations. You have to set expectations for people. If they're going to be in your life, if they're going to be a part of your circle, you have to have set expectations for yourself. And when you set those expectations, it'll be very clear that you'll know whether they meet the expectation of being a true friend of yours, or whether they're just going to be an associate or a co-worker or somebody that passes you by. But many of us, we don't have any set expectations, so we allow access to any and everybody into our lives. And because of that, we're wondering what's holding us back. It's the people you have around you. It's the people that you stay connected to. It's the people that you keep in your circle that you need to push out. So you have to have a set expectation. The second thing is you have to realize that there are different levels of information. Let me say that again. You have to have set expectations, and then you have to realize that there are different levels of information. And we're talking about requiring passwords for people to come into your life. Listen, when I look at my online account, oftentimes, even though I'm in there to look at my credit card and to pay my bill, my entire credit card number is not displayed. And there are some levels of information that I have to actually call and talk to a live person before they will give me access and give me information. Even though I've given them the password to get on the screen, there are some things they won't tell me until I call in, because they realize that even the information that I shared to get online may be compromised. So sometimes they have to talk to me to verify me a little further. For many of you, you have set expectations, but then once a person gets into your circle, you tell everybody everything. Listen, there are very few people in your life that you can tell everything. There's some people that you have to have levels of information. There are some people I can share how my day is going. There are other people I can tell some things that I'm concerned about. But then there are very few people to get into that higher echelon where I tell them my visions, and I tell them my dreams, and I tell them my hopes, and I tell them my fears. And for some of you, you tell everybody everything, and because you have no required level of information, you don't know who's hurting you. You don't know who's telling your business. You don't know who's attacking you. You don't know who's pulling you down. Again, if you're just joining us, we're talking about requiring passwords to enter into your life. And so we talked about having set expectation. We talked about realizing that there are levels of information. Now, the last part is the hardest part. And that is, you must understand that some relationships have an expiration. Listen, what I've discovered about some accounts is that after you've used the password for so long, that they will make you reset your password. It's the most frustrating thing in the world to me, because once I get a password in my mind, it's hard for me to have to come up with another and remember what I changed it to. But the reason that they do this, and the reason that they make you change the password after a certain time, is because they're trying to get you to break a pattern. Because if you get too caught up in a pattern, other people other cyber attackers can get into your password and get into your account. You have to understand that there's some things in your life that have an expiration date. There are very few relationships that'll follow you from the beginning to the end of your life. There are some relationships that have an expiration date, and you have to realize which ones they were. There were some people that were meant to help you to a certain point, and then you have to hug them and tell them, you've reached your expiration. It's time for us to move on. It's time for mutual separation. That doesn't mean they're bad for you. That doesn't mean you're bad for them. It's just a season of your life where things are changing, and you realize this relationship can't be what it was. Sometimes you have to either eliminate it or you have to let it evolve into something else, because there's some things that require expiration. So again, we're talking about the change checklist. Last week we talked about control what you can control. This week we're talking about requiring passwords. That's having a set expectation, that is realizing that there are levels of information, and that's understanding that some relationships have an expiration. This is Motivational Monday, brought to you by The Bridge Builder. Listen, if you really want to change your life and you want some personal coaching from me, inbox me right now and we can talk about how to do some one-on-one coaching to help you get to this change checklist. Buy my book on Amazon.com, How to Get to the Other Side. I'm Zach Brewster. This is Motivational Monday, brought to you by The Bridge Builder. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, because as long as there's a Monday, we'll be motivating you. Take care of yourself. See you soon.